And I'm sure people have been wondering that why is there no topic? They just put health talk. Now, what are we talking about? Okay, so in deciding what to talk about today, we wanted something that cut across both male and female, young and old. So that's why we just put the health talk. So as we go on, you know what we're talking about. Please, can we have the next slide? Okay, so next slide. The next slide is not coming up. Okay, so we're going to talk about, our talk today is in two phases. So the first one will be identifying and managing old age illnesses. In the slide, you see that the old age is in quotes because most of all these illnesses also happen to younger people. So I put the old age in quotes so that we know that it's not only limited to the older folks. Okay, so I would like to make it a little bit interactive. So who can tell us at what age does old age start? Anybody? Sir? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, okay. Any other opinion? Ah. Okay, any other one? Okay. Yes, sir. 70. Okay. So according to WHO, that's the World Health Organization, old age actually starts at 65. But in some other climes, old age starts at their retirement age. I think in Lagos states, old age starts at 60 because that's the retirement age. So even at that old age, there are other categories. You say old age, those are the older young ones from 60 to 75. Then you have the oldest, that's from 85. So in between, you have the oldest, older. So they have that category, so it's a bit confusing. So we'll move on to the next slide. So as people age, they become more susceptible to certain health conditions and diseases. So it is important to be aware of these common old age illnesses and take steps to identify and manage them effectively. So we'll be talking about a couple of them, at least the most common ones that we have around. So we just talk briefly about them, how we can prevent them, or how we can reduce the risk of having them, and the management, not the management per se, but we'll just talk briefly on everything. So next slide, we'll start with the first one will be heart diseases. So heart diseases is a leading cause of death among older people, among older adults, and symptoms can include chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, and to prevent this, he says that to reduce the risk, you have to, do exercises, eat healthy, manage stress. That is very important. I believe we talked about stress management some time ago, so we can relate it to what we are talking about today. And if you have been diagnosed with heart disease, so it's good to take your medications and also do a lifestyle modification. That means change the way you've been living your life. If you know you've been smoking, drinking, you have to stop all that. And also eat healthy. That can help to maintain that. So we'll move to the second one, which is hypertension. And that's very common around here in our environment. So I'd like to ask, can somebody tell us when your BP is considered high, at what level? Do you know that? They will tell you that, okay, your blood pressure is high. Does anybody know that? Yes, ma'am. So that's very correct. So if you have a blood pressure of 140/90 and above, that is considered high. Even though among the older people, from age 70, 75, if your blood pressure is measured and it measures 140/90, as a doctor, we won't be worried because as you age, there's a tendency of it going higher. So that is considered normal in that age group, except they've been diagnosed earlier on in their life as being hypertensive. So except that, but if it's detected first time at that age, you won't really say that they're hypertensive. You just associate it with age. So that can be managed with diets, lifestyle, and if necessary, just a little medication. That's if necessary. So to prevent high blood pressure, We have to check our blood pressure regularly because hypertension doesn't have much symptoms. You won't know except until it has gotten very bad. That's when you start having symptoms. So regular checks and monitoring can help to prevent the risk of high blood pressure. And regular exercise, maintaining healthy lifestyle, reducing our sodium intake, that's salt. So, and high blood pressure, if not managed well, can lead to other health challenges. It can have a stroke. It can also lead to kidney failure and some other things. So it has to be managed when diagnosed with it. Make sure that we take our medications that we're supposed to take, maintain a healthy lifestyle, and also stress management is part of the management of hypertension, and regular exercises. So we go to the third one. So we are going to try, because there are so many, so we're just going to touch on them briefly and try and explain as much as I can in this short time that we have here. So the third one, we move to diabetes. There are two types of diabetes. You have the type 1 and the type 2. So the type 2 diabetes is the one that is most common in adults. And that is more common in older adults and can be managed through diet, exercise, so monitoring blood sugar levels and taking medications as prescribed if you have been diagnosed with having diabetes. So regular checkups with your healthcare provider are essential for managing this as well. So if you've noticed, everything has been healthy diet, healthy eating, exercise. So that's mainly the bedrock of all to prevent coming down with all these things. We have to maintain a healthy lifestyle, eat healthy, exercise, manage stress. So those are the very important. So we go to the next one, which is osteoporosis. And osteoporosis simply means weakening, let's just say weakening of the bones, weak bones, brittle bones. That's what osteoporosis is. And it's mainly common in women, older women, because at older women, most of their hormone levels drop, and it can cause them to have, brittle bones, soft bones, so they fracture easily, they have bone pains and all that. So to prevent this, it is important to maintain a diet rich in calcium and vitamin D. But we say that the most reliable source of vitamin D is the early morning sun. So if you want a high dose of vitamin D, just come out early in the morning, the first ray of sunshine. That's your best bet of vitamin D. But it also comes in supplements. So if you are not the kind of person that wakes up early, so you can take calcium and vitamin D supplements. You can also engage in weight-bearing exercise. This helps strengthen the bone and avoid smoking and excessive alcohol consumptions. So if you abide by all that, you reduce the risk or prevent from having osteoporosis. So we move on to arthritis. Arthritis is inflammation of the joints. It can be your hands, your fingers, your knees, and this is mainly characterized by pain, swelling, and stiffness of the joint, and mostly associated with old age, like we said. So to prevent or to reduce the risk of having arthritis, you have to maintain a healthy weight, exercise regularly, and eat balanced diet. So everything is lifestyle. Maintain your lifestyle, eat healthy, exercise regularly, and eat a balanced diet. Then we move on to Alzheimer's disease or dementia. Alzheimer's disease is an example of dementia. Dementia is memory loss, which is also common to older adults. So the memory loss most times is the short-term memory. They remember what have happened a very long time ago, but recent happenings they tend to forget. And so that's a common illness of old age as well. So to prevent this, you have to engage in mentally stimulating activities, be active, exercise, socialize. Don't just, stay by yourself. Make sure you interact with people, you socialize, you go to church, go to parties, mix up and talk to people, and manage stress. So that will help in reducing the risk of Alzheimer's or dementia. So the management is cognitive training, caregiver support, always have people around to help and talk with them and all that. So that's about that. So we move also to depression and anxiety. So it's not only young people that get depressed, older people get depressed as well. So the mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety can affect older adults. It is important to seek help from a healthcare provider if experiencing symptoms such as persistent sadness, loss of interest, excessive worry. There are some, older people, when they are old, most of the children are out of the house, they are married, they're in their own houses, and they're always alone if they don't have, like what we said, they're not a social person. So they're always at home. They may not go out or do anything. So they can be depressed, actually. So that's why I always say that children should not just leave their old ones alone. Visit them regularly, talk with them, and also that they don't get depressed or develop anxiety. Because most of them worry a lot about what's happening to my child. She's over there, I don't know what's happening there. They have all that. So they need to be maintain communication with them, with our older people, so that they don't fall into depression. So vision and hearing loss. That's very common in old age. Okay, like our daddy said that old age begins from 40. I remember when I was younger, I've always worn glasses, but I don't wear it all often. But I now found out that as I was approaching 40, if I want to read, I will not do like this. Meanwhile, I used to tease my mom then that, why are you always doing like this? You cannot see. So now it was my turn to read. If I take off my glasses, I can hardly read what's on my phone. If I don't put it this way. So that's with aging. As you grow older, your eyesight becomes, so you have to maintain your eyesight and also hearing loss as well. So age-related changes in vision and hearing are common in older adults. Regular eye exams and hearing tests can help detect issues early. And using corrective devices such as glasses or hearing aids can help manage these conditions effectively. We agree that some of our older folks are stubborn. They will tell you that there's nothing wrong with their eyes. They can see, they can read, but we'll try and encourage them for regular checks. We'll tell them actually if they need to wear glasses or not, and even hearing aids for some people. So the next one is incontinence. Incontinence is common in the much older, in the oldest category. So they have bladder and bowel control issues are common in older adults. Management includes pelvic floor exercises, lifestyle modifications, and medical interventions if needed. Because as they age, the bladder becomes, every part of the body is aging, so they can't control how they pass their urine, they can't control how they pass their feces. So they have to, it has to be managed well. And caregivers are supposed to be provided for them so that they can maintain the good hygiene and all that. Okay. So preventive care and regular checkups. That's the conclusion on this part of the talk. Regular health checkups, screening, vaccinations, and discussions with healthcare providers are essential for maintaining good health and managing any health issues that may arise as you age. I also would like to give an example. I'd like to give an example about my dad. Because when we were younger, growing up, we didn't used to eat meat. Because my dad didn't used to eat meat. So we were always eating fish and all that. And we were always very upset that, why don't we eat meat? Everybody eats meat outside and all that. For a very long time, we only ate fish at home because my dad only eats fish. It was when we now grew up, started eating out. That's when we started eating beef and all the other, okay, we ate to eat just fish and chicken, So, and now I'm looking at his life now, and I see that all those years of him not eating red meats actually pays. Looking at him now at 77. And then he used to be very active. He was very sporty, play squash almost every weekend or almost every other day. Looking at him now, and I saw that lifestyle has really helped him a lot. At 77, he still drives. We just recently banned him from driving and got a driver for him. And he still goes to work. He still works, very active. So I think that lifestyle helped him, Now that he's older, He's still very active. He does most of the things by himself. He won't allow you. Even his clothes, the ones he washes them by himself, except the ones he takes to dry cleaner. So I don't know, that lifestyle, as it's in him, and it has helped him even till now. You know, he doesn't even have any of these things that we have talked about, except probably the arthritis. That's the only thing that he has. So, and he's very healthy, very fine. So when I was told to talk about this topic, as I was reading everything, I said, oh, okay, my dad is a very good example of lifestyle, how you live your life and all that. So in conclusion of this first part, I'll just write to say, you should remember that early detection and proactive management are keys to maintaining good health and quality of life as you age. It is important to stay informed, communicate openly with healthcare providers, and make healthy life choices to reduce the risk of developing age-related sicknesses and disease. So we move on to the next part of the presentation. That's how, next slide. No. Go back. The one before this. Okay, so the next part is preventing, reducing the impact of old age illnesses from a young age. So this just is everything that we've been talking about before. Certainly, preventing or reducing the impact of old age diseases from a young age is crucial for maintaining a healthy and active lifestyle as you grow older. So here are some key points to consider, you know, while we are young, so that by the time we are older, we will have reduced the risk of developing all these issues that we talk about. Our lifestyle choices. The significance of healthy lifestyle choices, such as maintaining a balanced diet, staying physically active, getting enough sleep, managing stress, and avoiding harmful habits like smoking and excessive alcohol consumption. These habits established early in life can significantly reduce the risk of chronic diseases later on. And that's part of what we've been talking about from the beginning, is the lifestyle. Our lifestyle choices are very, very important. Also, regular physical activities. Regular exercises and physical activities as a cornerstone of healthy aging. Engaging in activities such as walking, jogging, swimming, or strength training can help maintain muscle mass, build bone density, and overall physical fitness, reducing the risk of conditions like osteoporosis, heart disease, and diabetes, like we mentioned earlier on. And we still go back to our eating healthy. Healthy eating habits promote a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grain, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Encourage the consumption of foods high in antioxidants, vitamins, minerals to support the overall health and reduce the risk of age-related diseases such as, like we've mentioned before, heart diseases, diabetes, and cognitive decline. That's in the dementia, Alzheimer's disease. So, and regular health screening also helps, because if you do regular health checkups, we monitor the key indicators, our blood pressure, our blood sugar, our cholesterol levels, and others. We can detect early if there's any potential health issues and manage them and keep them from worsening at that point. So our mental health and cognitive stimulation too is very important. You have to maintain a good mental health through activities such as socializing, like you mentioned earlier, learning new skills, and engaging in mentally stimulating activities. We encourage practices like mindfulness, meditation, and stress management to support well-being and cognitive function as we age. So these are all the things that we've mentioned before. I think the only thing that was not there is this sun protection and skin care. Now we know the sun is always very hot. The studies have shown that the ozone layer is almost off. So we are more exposed to the dangerous ultraviolet light rays from the sun. So it's good to maintain our skin. Sun protection to prevent skin damage and reduce risk of skin cancer. We are encouraged to use sunscreen, protective clothing, hats, and sunglasses outdoors to emphasize the importance of regular skin checks for early detection of any abnormalities. I'm sure most of us, or a majority of us, have never even been to a dermatology clinic before. So we are encouraged to just go, just to check out our skin to be sure that everything is in order. And skin issues, when picked up very early, are very manageable and it's reversible most of the time. And we maintain social connections. The importance of maintaining strong social connections and relationships throughout life. Social interactions and support have been linked to better mental health, emotional well-being, and even physical health outcome as you age. So like we've discussed before, maintain a good social relationship. As I think the church is a very good place to socialize and, bear out talk to somebody and help manage your stress level if you are stressed and think you need somebody to talk with, So let's do that. So by adopting, in conclusion, I think we've come to an end, okay? In conclusion, by adopting these healthy habits and practices from a young age, individuals can significantly reduce the risk of developing age-related diseases and enhance their quality of life as they grow older. So we should remember that it's never too early to start investing in your long-term health and well-being. Thank you. So I think we can take some questions if there are any questions, just briefly. Yes, sir.
I say 40.
Yes, sir.
Because that's what I've been reading from so many health professionals in the last decade.
Okay, sir.
Because most of those diseases, apart from those on the right-hand side, actually, I don't even know whether I want to say more common in the young men.
Okay.
Heart disease. You can see heart attack nowadays.
Yes, sir.
It's eating a lot of young men that even the old. Hypertension. An average African or Nigerian develop hypertension at the age of like 35.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And a lot of other diseases. So what can we do? I know you said that, investing early, but it may already be too late for some people. So what can they then do to maybe turn the table back? Okay. Because old age now, my father is 99 years old, and he's earlier than most people that I know. He's earlier than most of us. So what is your suggestion?
Okay, so like we said, it's just lifestyle modification. There's a way of life that we are used to, and we know that, okay, like all the things that we say that predispose to developing all these things, it boils down to your lifestyle, your diets, and your physical activity, what you take into your body, If you smoke, you stop smoking. If you take alcohol, you stop taking alcohol. It's been found out that when you actually stop all this alcohol, smoking, eating healthy, there's a reversal to some extent. Not maybe completely healed, but there's a reversal to some extent that, okay, this person is doing better, even if he's on medication or not. So that's why most times for diabetes, when they are newly diagnosed, they don't give them drugs immediately. They'll tell you, change your lifestyle, you're eating healthy, modify what you're eating. They go with diet first. So most times, if you are diagnosed, and diet can work to reverse it. You don't need to be on medication. So those are the kind of things, those are the things that, if you notice that from what we were talking about, everything boils down to your lifestyle, eating healthy, exercising. So once we start incorporating this into our lives, it can actually help reverse to some extent any health conditions that we have. Weight loss can also help. Especially if you have arthritis, you notice that by the time you lose some weight, that pain that you've been having in your knee, it reduces. So your lifestyle generally, by the time you change it, you see changes. So I hope I've answered your question, sir.
I should ask my question?
Yes, sir.
Right. The first 3 or 4 illnesses that you mentioned there, and as you are just talking now,
yes, sir,
I just noticed that there has been an emphasis on exercise and exercise and exercise.
Yes.
What is the parameter based on the age grading? What type of exercise should I be engaged in? Probably at my age and those of 40 and 50s and 60s.
Okay, sir.
Because some may run, some may jog, some may, please, can you suggest and at what time and how long should we stay on that so that we don't overdo it again? And probably to round up that as you suggest, maybe some of our ministries like today we are here and it's men and women that organize this. If they will go further to furnish some places around here with some things that people can come around the church and say, I want to go to church and
gym.
Be in the gym and use this one. Maybe the men and women can think about that.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for the question. Okay, so we don't necessarily have to go to the gym. Walks, 30-minute walks a day can help. Even you don't have to do the 30 minutes at once. You can, depending on your time, if you can walk, do the 30 minutes at a stretch for the walk, it's fine. But if you can't, you can break it 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. So 30 minutes walk every day, at least 5 times a week, it will sure do wonders for you. Yes, sir. It will help. Yes, across all age groups. All right, sir.
Good evening, House.
Good evening.
My question is, before now, I find myself, I like to drink tea with milk and Milo, but now I find it hard to finish a cup of tea with milk and Milo, but I can take 2 to 3 cups of tea with Nescafe and just sugar. But I go to hospital always. Like 3 days ago, I was at the hospital doing checkup, but they told me everything is fine. But I don't think.
Okay, so it's milk now that is the problem. Okay, but can you take the tea without milk and you'll be fine? So maybe your body is just reacting to the milk. So you can actually stop taking the milk. It won't do you any harm. You stop taking it. Okay.
Thank you very much for the talk.
Thank you.
One thing I would like you to stress on, especially with hypertension, it runs in families. We should always ask questions. Usually, in this country, people hide what is wrong with them. They don't want another person to know. But eventually, when somebody falls ill, and when they come, we start asking questions. Is there somebody in your family that has gone through this before or not? But people always keep quiet. So it's very important for us to know what is there in the family. And then for you to now try to kick against that, to work against it so that you don't fall prey to this. Hypertension, diabetes, obesity, which is something you can work on yourself. So there's so many other things that is there that affects us. Sometimes they say it's in the genes, but then you can work around it to make sure that it does not debilitate you. So I just wanted to, maybe you should mention that.
Thank you, Ma. You've already told us about it. Thank you very much, Ma, for the contribution. Yes, like you said, hypertension can be hereditary. So if you know you have a family history of that, like you said, you have to work on yourself so that you don't come down with it, you know. Like we said, your lifestyle, you know that, okay, maybe probably your parents or your grandparents were hypertensive, so there's every likelihood of you two being hypertensive. So from a young time, check your blood pressure regularly, and don't do the things that can predispose you to having the high blood pressure. Same goes with diabetics as well. So that's why when we started, I put the old age in quotes so that we know that it's not only the old people that all these things affect, it also affects the younger ones as well. Okay.
I know you are not a dietitian. However, there's a lot of worry about what we eat now in Nigeria. Yeah, I know that doctor is not a dietitian. However, there is a lot of worry about what we eat in Nigeria now, mostly. We tend to have shifted our taste from eating locally grown food, locally made food, to imported food. And a lot of this imported food, they contain a lot of things that we don't know. And it's so worrying that, the shift or the rate at which a lot of things happen nowadays compared with what it used to be before is so high. In many parts of the world, they had what we're having now in the past, but they have to quickly start shifting towards organic food. I remember this has been said, even when Obasanjo was in government, he was begging people not to be eating Nigerian grown chicken. But the tendency is still that, I don't know, that mentality that what we have here is inferior, including food, compared with what is brought over there. So I don't know what advice you can give now that you are here and you are talking to people, because it seems that it's an inferiority complex on part of most of us to believe that what is grown locally and fresh and non-nutritious to our body. And it has to be what are brought from overseas. And unfortunately, our quality control system, all of us know. So you can't completely vouch for what you see on the bottle that is NAFDAC approved, because even that NAFDAC stamp could be fake one. So I don't know the kind of advice you can give.
Okay, so it's also we can grow our own food. Eat healthy, as in eat fresh fruits and vegetables, than eating canned food. So if you are going to eat chicken, why don't you eat live chicken instead of the frozen one that we buy? Fruits and vegetables are fresh. You can buy them every day. You can even grow some of them in your backyard if you have enough space. So eating healthy fruits, vegetables, freshly grown, freshly sourced, locally sourced, is always better than the imported ones and all that, because they can be, there are all sorts of chemicals they use to grow things. And even some of the imported vegetables and fruits and all that, they are genetically modified. There are so many of them, even they say it's organic, but there are so many things that have been added and taken out of it and all that. Because you go to the market now, you can get a tangerine that has no seed in it. That's genetically modified. So how good is it for your body, for your system? So why don't you eat what you know, how it's grown and all that, and that's going to help, your body and all.
So I was going to talk about genetic modification. So like now, for women, we'll notice that ugu, which, we all know what size it was before. It started out by if you caught it, you haven't cooked it, you just washed it, and it changes, which was not normal. But now I think now you can get ugu that is a leaf is this big. Obviously genetically modified, because I know when abroad I'm always saying, oh, no, our own food is organic. But honestly, we have to be more careful now, because, and even tomatoes, have you noticed there are all kinds of species? There's one new one that I don't know if it's the bottom or the top, it has
it's
a V.
like a cone.
Yes, and then it has a V shape. Excuse me. There are just so many things around, and we really need to be careful, but then you go to the market, even the people say this is all that is available. So what do we do, and what's the effect of that? Because hey, ugu, we're eating vegetables, Abi, yes, but that's the only option that is available, because a lot of people have gone into farming and it's all about money. So what then do we do?
You can grow your own.
It's okay. Okay, But really, my question is, what's the real effect of all of these on the body?
Okay, so that's going into genetics now. I said that's going into genetics. It's out of our scope of talk. Well, I think most times before they bring out all these things, they actually test it, check it genetically if it affects some genes in the body and all that. But there is no way actually that they will be able to test them against all the genes we have in the body. So we won't be able to say that, okay, this is going to affect us. But there can be some effects, as slight as it may be, that we don't know. So all those things are risky, in quotes, as in you eat them at your own risk because you don't really know what they're doing to your body and where the outcome can come out from. I think that's it.
Okay, praise the Lord. Hallelujah. So from the solutions of all these sicknesses you mentioned, you said exercise, then eating healthy. So I want to say that as mothers, we have a big work to do here. So as we are the one that go into the kitchen to prepare the meal. So if actually we've been, like, all these sausages and unhealthy food that we soda, our children, they love to take drinks a lot, So we need to control what we give to the children now. Let them understand that it's not good for their health. And as they're growing, they'll get used to it. Even the exercise, like my son is big. So people keep saying you're fat, you're fat, you're fat. So now he's able to join a football academy. So he goes to exercise his body. He's burning the fat, So it's a healthy lifestyle. So if he grows into that, just like you said, your dad, that there are some things, he does a lot of things that is helping him at his old age. I'm just trying to say that as mothers, whatever we are giving our children, we should be conscious of it, like vegetables. Initially, my children, they don't like David doesn't like vegetables. You see children saying, no, they keep picking out those vegetables. But if we introduce it to them at early stage, they'll grow up eating these vegetables. So you're
just making a contribution first. Thank you.
Yes, that's... We should help our children, let them get used to having their exercise from time to time and eating healthy. Praise the Lord.
Thank you.
Praise the Lord. My question is in relation to the oils. I know it's a little confusing. Sometimes they say, I think palm oil is good. I use palm oil. We say, oh no, palm oil is not good. Oh, use soya. Oh, use canola oil, sunflower oil. And a lot of those oils are imported and expensive. So is it for us to use our nice palm oil or the soya bean oil that is available? The thing now is, which one is healthy and makes economic sense?
I'm asking the same question because I don't know. But they say that palm oil is good. And some people will tell you that it's too heavy in fats. But I think, in my opinion, I like palm oil too. I think palm oil is good. But there are so many other oils, and somebody will come to me and say, this oil is healthy, sunflower oil, soya oil, canola oil. So I don't know which one is is good that is recommended. So,
When you're talking about oils, palm oil is good, but make sure it is the real one. There are so many so-called palm oil in the market that has a lot of coloring that is not real palm oil. Palm oil is number one, especially for your eyes. It's really good, but do not indulge in it too much. What we're all talking about is moderation. So if you use anything too much, it's going to be injurious. All this canola, mazola, no cholesterol, zero, and all whatnot, some of them are bleached palm oil. So what are we saying? Everything, let's do it in moderation. But when you are going to buy palm oil in the market, watch out, because a lot of them are adulterated. And instead of doing good, they're going to turn around to do bad.
Thank you, ma'am. So if you don't have any other questions or contributions, I think we've come to the end of our health talk for today. Thank you. Thank you.